They let a metallic, millipede-like creature crawl up my leg, and I'm screaming. It's got red eyes like a demon. I'm screaming, and this thing is coming up my leg. I'm just fighting like a freaking soldier with everything I had, but there was no way. I mean, I was kicking that I wasn't having. I mean, I was doing like just hollering and screaming to get away from this thing. It got right up on my stomach, and it crawled right up in my face. It held me down and shot right through my nose. And that's when I remember everything just blacking out. And I remember hearing like digital sounds, like like just a weird sound and a blackout. So that would have been I was with them for an hour and 45 minutes.
You know, I've got to tell you, Aaron, I have never heard a story like this before. I mean, this is some bizarre goings on. I mean, I can't imagine how you've been able to maintain, you know, your sanity over the years. So the last they had told you to get up on this board. So what happened next?
They put something in my back. I was hollering and screaming. It was one of the most painful procedures or whatever they were doing. It was terrible. They kept telling me it was going to be all right. And they said, now it's just fine now. You feel better now. It's all right. Then I asked him, could I leave? I immediately asked to leave. Can I go? He said, no, not yet. So I sat back down in the same spot again where I was supposed to be at. I sat there for maybe, I don't know how long it was, but they went over to the middle of this craft. Now you got to remind you, this craft is like 20 feet wide in the inside, but yet this thing ain't that big outside. So this thing is some type of another dimension. Anyways, there's a star map globe. It's a ball that's lit up with light. He touches it, and it shows the exact spot where he claims he comes from. And he said the name into my head. It was Zeta Reticuli. Those are the words he said. And the one who said it was the light being, the one with the ball of light in his chest. He's the one that said it. I never told you about the hybrid with a contorted face. Looks similar to the same creature Travis Walton saw when he was inside of the vessel. That it was the quintessential gray. He was the guardian. And then the light being, he was the main boss. He was the shapeshifter. Anyways.
Where was your friend? Where was your friend at this time?
Okay, when I sat down after they did the procedure, this is the most weirdest thing to me, and it still haunts me. He's behind all three of them to the far right corner. They're standing in front of him, but there's a little bit of space where you can see him just standing there. They're all looking at me at the same time, like they're one mind. I don't know if it was because he was in shock, but I didn't understand why were they all just staring at me. I could not make any sense at it. For just a while, they just stood there and they just looked at me. All four of them. It didn't make any sense. I think maybe he was just in shock. They had way too much confidence. That's what scared me about it. He never had encounter with them before, and he was afraid of them too.
Well, did they do things to him as well, as far as the poking and prodding and metallic millipedes?
He was up for the whole thing. He watched everything that happened. He knows everything that actually happened to me. He said they never touched him. They told him, this is what he told me, he was too young to be treated or whatever they were doing. And that's why he was left out of the loop. That was their answer to him.
Was he younger than you?
He was 15 years old. I was 17 at the time. He was just going to turn 16, but he hadn't yet. I had just turned 17. He was 15. He was going to turn 16. So like a year and a half apart.
Wow.
So, I mean, they acted like there was actually somebody governing them. For you to say something like that, and for them not to do anything to him during those procedures, there would have had to have been some type of international guidelines going on for this to even take place at that level. They were following protocol.
So how did you finally get out or get away?
Okay. Anyways, when he told it was time to go, he said I could leave. He pointed towards the entrance. The way out. The way out, there was nothing there. It was a solid wall. But I did notice there was a black trim outline of an upside-down pyramid shape, which looked like a diamond shape. It's just an upside-down pyramid shape, maybe 3.5 feet tall. They got a thing about 3.5 feet. Everything was 3.5 feet. I don't know what the deal was with that, but everything's pretty. A lot of stuff is that measurement. Measurements are real important to them, obviously. But anyways, they pointed at the guy told me that way. Inside of my head, the light beam did. Then the gray looked. I said, which way? Which way? I'm terror. I don't want to be stuck with these things. I'm saying, which way? Which way? The little gray pointed at the door. Again, I said, you know what? You better get the moving right now, buddy. You better just start acting like there's a door. So you know what I did? I ducked down and I walked through solid material. That's exactly what I did. And I stepped out. I walked 3 feet away from the craft. I turned around and looked. And that's when I finally seen where I had been. It was a black glass pyramid with light enveloping out of it, all different colors. You see? Are you still there?
Yep.
I had to click on you there for a minute. It seemed to twist around all around me. The colors are moving around. The colors are mixing together and then switching out from each other. Oh, and you could almost touch the stuff.
So
penetrating the whole.
I'm sorry. You're saying the craft itself was a pyramid shape and resembled black glass.
Resembled black glass. It had writing, a cryptographic writing. These are symbols. They're all the way around it. And then the thing about this craft was it was constantly changing. There was blue and red, and then there was orange and yellow and pink and violet and purple. It just would constantly, and the sounds would change constantly over and over again. It was unreal. And you just could not, and then the lights would be white for a second, or white would come out with the blue and the red and the orange, and and the sounds were making high-tone Moog synthesizer type tones at the same time.
So the lights, the different colored lights, they were coming through the glass or from underneath?
They were emitting out. They're emitting out of it. And then it was transparent, like translucent. I looked and I seen the being. He was inside of there. The skeleton, he stepped out and he told me, because I couldn't move. I was so awed by what I was seeing. Even my friend was still in there. He looked at me and it said into my head again, it said, "Are you sure that you don't want to?" And then I just started running. I ran as fast as I could. That's when I said, okay, you better snap out of it and quit being a deer in the headlights. Get a move on right now, buddy. They ain't playing no games with you. So that's when I shot off and ran. I got to the end of the woods almost, and that's when my friend came out running. Now it's making more sounds like it's excited. The machine's excited. It's making all kinds of high-pitched synthesizer tones and every other kind of sounds you can think of. So a lady opens her door up that lives there, that knew us since we were little tiny kids. She said, "Aaron, Skip, what in the hell is going on out there?" I said to her, I shook my head and I looked at her. I said, "You don't want to know." So I said to her, "You wouldn't believe us if they told you." You know what she says? "Whatever's going on out there ain't normal. I'm going to believe whatever you tell us." And I said it to her just flat out. We got abducted. So we got captured. I didn't know the word abducted. They kept us. That's what I said. They trapped us,
Well,
they held us.
Aaron, I can pretty much guarantee you that once this video gets posted and folks hear this, I'm sure you're going to get a plethora of different types of responses. I'm sure there's going to be non-believers, but I'm sure there are going to be people that experienced something very close, if not the same, that you have.
Yeah.
So just be ready for that, okay?
Okay, I got something I want to tell you. You know what?
What's it?
Okay, when I got back to the house, they said that same craft, that people were getting abducted all night. That they've been getting calls like this all night that night.
Who? The
But yet,
police?
exactly. We called the police. They drove down Pulaski Drive. They seen the craft still hidden away in the shrub area. It was all written down. They've been having problems all night. There's been lights seen down by the water just a week before that, dancing all over the water in front of everybody, in front of over 1,000 witnesses. The lights shot from the radar system clear to Grand Haven. That was reported. They even did a UFO hunter show just on those lights, just on the ones that went from Pier Marquette Beach to Grand Haven's channel in like 1 second. That was recorded. They made a whole show out of just that. They didn't even have the deeper details of what was really going on like you do. I tried to get in touch with them. I did try back then, but I tried too hard. I didn't know how to, so I just kind of suppressed it still. This is the first time I actually said something to the public.
Okay, well listen, we're running low on time here, but I've got 2 quick questions I need to ask you.
Okay.
Number 1, since that evening back in 1989, have you had any other experiences?
2009, I had like a camera flash of light in front of my face, like a strong flash, like one of those old cameras with the little cube flashes on it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was walking down the staircase in my house. Family was upstairs. We're all wide awake. Flick right in my face. I go to my brother's house on another street called Apple Street, where I stayed with him maybe 7 months later, staying there with my family. We're in between places. I was talking to my brother about it, and a large flick of light through his window, exactly the same light. He says, "Whoa!" It never happened again, but it happened those 2 times. That was something like they're watching, like don't think we don't know or whatever. But
we're still
like
here.
I said, I just pray to Jesus, and that's how I got up out of there as far as I'm concerned.
Okay, and my final question, because we're just about out of time. Final question is, what made you go ahead and put the video up on YouTube here just recently?
I put the video up on YouTube to try to see, and I still have left details out, but to try to see if other people have had the exact same experience by the same craft. Did they see these 3 different beings together when they say that they're not together? From all this research I've done since then now, they're not together, but I've seen them together. And so when I first did this, doesn't seem to be anybody divided when all 3 of these different type of entities were together. One, 3-man team right there. That's the shocking thing about it, and how I just never heard anybody else just come out and be so flat out as I have.
Well,
they kind of suppressed what they're saying, and I think that's what separates me from the rest. Kind of makes me feel scared at the same time for being so outward. You know what I mean? Just saying it flat out.
Well, I tell you, it does take a lot of guts to come out and talk about something like that. But hopefully somebody will either see your video or this episode of Topic UFO and respond to you, and perhaps you'll get some further information or confirmation.
Listen to this. I'm doing just fine. I'm a soldier, and I learned from these other people we have to be strong for ourselves. I talked to Nick Pope today, who used to be the Ministry of Defense. I spoke to him on the phone. I spoke to him on the internet today. He told me good luck. He gave me some advice. He's a good guy.
Great guy.
Very supportive. Yes, they are. And they're at hand. They're right there where you can reach them, some of them. And he's a down-to-earth person. I really appreciate him going out of his way talking to me like that. So if they're out there, there's good people.
Nick Pope is probably one of the friendliest ufologists out there, you know, at his level. Very, very busy guy, but he always will
Yeah,
take the time to at least respond to you, and that's just pretty cool. Well, listen, Aaron, I can't thank you enough. Uh, we will definitely stay in touch, and I will pass on any messages that I may receive because of this taping, and stay safe.
Oh, yeah. Stacy seems to be working pretty good for me, man. Doesn't seem like anybody really cares. I'm so far up here that a man in black or anybody else that tried to show up where I live at, boy, they'd stick out like a sore thumb around here.
Well,
and if they did show up, it'd be the most exciting thing that happened in a long time.
well, I'm sure people are.
Maybe get a little bit of martial arts skills on them.
There you go. There
joking.
you go. Well, listen,
No,
Aaron, I do feel privileged, very privileged that you shared this with me, and now with the viewers as well. So, can't thank you enough, and we will keep our eyes and ears open, and definitely you do the same. Okay.
Okay. One thing I say, I'm not the kind of guy that will commit suicide.
Well, good.
So any of that hocus pocus goes on, it's not me. That's
Good.
a setup.
Okay, good.
Okay?
I wasn't thinking
Shout out
that.
to Phil Schneider's family. Shout out to Phil Schneider's family.
All right. Very good. Aaron, thanks again for coming on, and we'll talk to you soon.
Okay, thanks a lot, man.
Okay, bye-bye.
Okay, bye.
Open the door, you'll find the secret. To find the answer is to keep